Welcome to the ancient port of Gallipoli in beautiful southeast Italy. High winds have been blowing off the Mediterranean for most of the week, and as we wait for the drivers to take to the water, let's look at this beautiful area of Gallipoli. People here depend on the sea today as much as they did 1,000 years ago. Olive oil and fishing are the mainstay in the area's economy, while tourists flock here by the thousands to see the old city and the castle that is almost 1,500 years old. Because of the geographic location, the people have had to face invaders for thousands of years. And today, it's the UIM Formula One World Championship Series that invades this memorable city for round number 8 of the 1996 Tour. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Michael, and welcome as we get set to go. The drivers in conference. They're itching to get out onto the water. The conditions have been very difficult for the drivers, but now it is settled down, and they're set to go out for final practice as they get ready for today's championship event. Now, the officials set the lineup in order of championship points throughout the season, so there was no surprise when Guido Capellini came through in the morning warm-up and was the quickest in the field. And, of course, he will also start on pole position because he leads the championship table with 6 wins in the first 7 races of the year. So as a 3-time world champion gets set to go racing here in Italy for the 2nd straight event, we asked him how it felt for him losing at Campione.
In
Campione, I had a problem with a 6,000 lira spark plug. I regret not having one on my home ground, but I think I did the best race of the season, even though I finished 13th. The fact that I regained 2 laps in 35 gave me great satisfaction. Starting second on the dock and always one of the quickest drivers on the circuit is Michael Werner of Germany. But Michael went out, was only 7th quickest in morning practice. We asked him what his problems were.
I was very busy with my customer, and I go only out in the last minute, and I tried the prop, which I think may be a good one. Then I find out this is not the right one. And then I changed the prop, and then the test session was over, which tells me what I'm doing now. Okay. I will take one of my experienced prop and we'll see what happens.
John Player Gold Leaf driver Jonathan Jones out of Cardigan, Wales is starting 3rd off the pontoon today. He's coming off a big victory in Campione. We asked him about his quick times of the morning.
Done a little bit of development work with roller propellers, and we're trying some new 5 blades at the moment, and they seem to suit the boat much better than the 4 blades. So this weekend I think is going to be another rough race. There's a lot of boats out there. It's a very tight circuit, and I think we'll try the new roller 5 blade again because it seemed to be running well in practice, and just hope we're there in the end, you know.
The DAC team will have drivers in the 4th and 5th positions, beginning with this man, Finnish driver Pertte Lepala, who's coming off a 2nd place finish in Campione. But alongside of him will be his teammate, Massimo Ruggiero out of Italy, who was very strong in the early portions of the season, but after his crash in China, he's trying to renew his confidence.
2
races ago, I wouldn't have been satisfied with 3rd place in the World Championship. After 2 races with no points, I must say that about this stage of the season, the podium doesn't seem to be so easy to reach anymore. The surprise of the year has to go to this driver, Humat Bakit out of the United Arab Emirates. He has finished every race in the top 10 this year, and has a good case for Rookie of the Year. He was going very quickly in practice yesterday when this happened. We asked him, how did he crash?
The first boy, number 1. I came very loose there. I tried to drop the engine a little down, but that time not enough for me. And I hit 2 waves and Palaro in the first boy. And this is normal. It will happen in the Formula One race.
Coolly and calmly now, Humat Bakit's crew changes boats from the 1996 Seabold American-built hull to the 95 edition. So as they make the changes, other crews now getting prepared. They go through extensive checklists to make sure the boats are picture perfect before they're craned into the water. And as this goes on, let's do a feature that we haven't had a chance to do this season. Let's go inside the cockpit. We'll show you Jonathan Jones and his office.
And what we've got here is a steering wheel. We have a foot throttle, just like a car, and we have a series of buttons on the wheel. The area around me is called the safety cell. It's made from an advanced fibre which is called carbon. It's very, very strong, and it protects the driver in the event of an accident. As you can see on the steering wheel, I have a series of buttons which we call the trim buttons. When I press the buttons on the wheel here, you can see the actual engine moving out on the back of the boat, creating the boat to lift in the front and give us more acceleration. What you obviously have to be careful about is that you don't let the boat run too loose on top of the water, otherwise you could blow it over. So as I'm going along the straight, after coming out of a corner, I press another button on the floor, which moves the engine in and levels the boat out. A little bit like an aircraft actually taking off. Also, I have a button here. When I press this up, it moves the engine up on the back, and down, it moves the engine down. And this can also assist with the handling of the boat in certain conditions on the water. When the driver gets in or out, he can actually pull a lever behind, take the wheel off. In front of the wheel, we have a rev counter, which shows us the RPM that we're running at, which basically shows us the performance of the engine. On this particular boat, I run tanks not in the center of the boat, but in each sponson to get a good balance. And I've got a switch here where I can control the amount of fuel in each sponson. We have a start button and what we call a kill switch. Should the boat go over or we want to stop it in a hurry, we press this button and it stops the engine totally.
La barca effettivamente non ha il freno, ma
The boat doesn't have brakes, but we can decelerate even more effectively than the car because our brake is the lateral gravity force. When we take our foot off the accelerator and we turn the steering wheel, the deceleration comes from the G-force on the internal left sponson.
E la decelerazione viene fatta dallo scarpone interno della curva. Quindi è una oltre alla decelerazione c'è anche la forza G che è altissima.
Of course, Guido's been building boats for well over 11 years, and these boats really now are a lot more sophisticated because he uses a lot of digital readouts that can be checked following any session by a series of computers that give him notations that he may need for better performance. Just moments away from the start of the race this afternoon as the crews now line the boats up at the start dock. And as they finish off getting lined up in order, let's take a look at the race course. 1.6 kilometers around, 5 turns. This race course very much like China, a long straightaway on the back stretch, and a very tricky turn number 3 as we take a look at the starting grid. Guido Cappellini will be the man on the pole. Of course, this set up by points. Michael Werner second as we go through the field. Keep an eye on Anton van Heerden starting in the 9th spot. He'll be quick, along with Thomas Guttormsen in Norway. He should be charging up from the back of the pack. And a whole host of rookies. The final 4 spots filled by Italian drivers. And now let's take a look at the weather conditions that the drivers will face this afternoon. A beautiful sunny day. Temperatures very hot in the cockpits. Hardly any wind at all. All eyes focus on the scoring tower just seconds from the start. The red lights to green and they're underway. And Guido Cappellini, the 3-time world champion, charges away from the start of the dock. And off the pole he comes, but look at his teammate, Yutaka Sugihara, making a move from the middle of the pack as he goes to the outside route. As we watch the rest of the boats come through, we'll keep an eye on Humat Bakit as he was charging from the tail end of the field. But it's our leader, Guido Cappellini. We've seen him out in front so many times this year, going out in the clear water. Now heading into turn number 3, the right-hander sweeping through that. Kicks the tail up on end a bit, now going down into turn number 4. Nice set of the boat as he starts to accelerate away to the short chute here. And now down the front straightaway for the first time of 55 laps this afternoon. As he comes rearing up high, now in full flight as he flies down the front straightaway. So Guido Cappellini jumping off to an immediate lead here on lap number 1. And right behind Michael